So welcome to the show. Today I'll meet Karen Brown. Karen is a TikTok expert, content strategies. She's involved in storytelling and social influence and social media. Hello, Karen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Great. It's a pleasure. We know for a while. I've learned a lot from you. I thought it's going to be a great opportunity for us to meet and discuss what you're doing and how we can help, various brands, retailers in the e-commerce space. So why don't we start from the beginning? If you can share who you are, what you do, some of your background.
Okay, so I've been in the marketing area for around 17 years. And what happened is I had moved to Seattle for my ex-husband's job, and I had to figure out what I'm going to do. So I ended up starting a marketing career without even knowing that it was marketing, because it was before there was social media, before there was anything of that type. And so I was like home trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. I was an ex-teacher and I started to write a blog. So it started off as a blog and it was the beginning of the blog era, the beginning of the foodie era. People didn't even know what a foodie was. And I started writing a blog about food. I would just go to Whole Foods, walk around, look at what they have, and then come home and write about it. And it was really special to be part of the beginning of. So I did a lot of things at the same time that ended up working for me, and I didn't even realize it at the time. As far as social media at that time, there was Facebook and ICQ, and the Facebook wasn't a social network. It was like we were all figuring out what to do with Facebook. So I started off writing a blog, and I wrote the local newspaper and asked them if I could write a blog for them, and they said yes. They'd never met somebody who just came out and asked them to write a blog.
Mm.
And I started writing a blog for the Seattle PI, which was the local newspaper. And that's how I started my career. And as I started writing a blog, I started to discover social media and marketing as I go. And I really liked it. And it was like really special to grow in this area. But the thing about writing a blog is that I was alone all the time. I didn't know anybody and it was very lonely. So I started looking for bloggers online and asking them if they want to meet. And it was really like, as I started doing it, there weren't a lot of bloggers and bloggers started popping up. And slowly, I created the Seattle Food Bloggers, which was a group of food bloggers who get together to talk about blogging. And it grew and grew and grew. At the beginning, there were like 5 to 7 people at every meeting. And then slowly it became 200 and 300, and it became a big thing. So at this time, as social media started to pop up, we started to discover it together. And the amazing part is that every time we discovered something, we were all like one of the first people on it. And it really made us experts in it. And I love that area of doing things. And I realized like I want to do more of this. I want to do something bigger. So I went to the biggest chef in Seattle. His name is Tom Douglas, knocked on his door and asked him if we could do an event together. I really didn't even know what I was doing. And he's like, how are you going to promote it? I was like, on Twitter. And Twitter just popped up. It was like 2 weeks into Twitter. And he's like, what's Twitter? I was like, don't worry. We're going to promote it. So this chef and we created food opportunity networking events for the food community. There was a huge party with everyone in the food industry, bloggers and restaurants and chefs, and everything was organic on Twitter. And it ended up being that we built this big food community. People would just know about the event on Twitter. We never had to promote anything. And then the other thing is that every time everybody who came to the event wrote a blog post. So the internet was full of food opportunity in what we did, and that's how community was built. So it started off like that, and then every single social media I was on it from the beginning. Instagram, Pinterest, everything. And it turned into a career, social media career. I published a book called The Food Lover's Guide to Seattle from food writing, and all these opportunities came just by being on the internet and building communities. And I didn't even know that I was doing it. And then after, I guess, many years where I was head of marketing at different companies, I decided there's a thing called TikTok. And why don't I be good at that too? Like if I could do it with every other platform, why couldn't I do it with TikTok? And I started to go into TikTok during Corona while I was stuck at home, like seriously 5 posts a day, something like really trying to figure out how I can really get into this thing and understand it well. and I became a TikToker with 24,000 followers and over 1 million likes. And that's how I started my career in TikTok. And now I have a TikTok agency based on everything that I built until now.
Wow, Karen, that's amazing. So it seems like you were there from early stage, early stage of blogging, early stage of Twitter, social media, building communities, writing books, and even identifying video as an opportunity and jumping to TikTok bandwagon like very, very early. Why? I mean, and you said it, you were not aware of all these, initiatives and innovation and the things that you do. Any idea how come you were involved in such an amazing opportunities and the right timing?
I think basically once you understand that you can do one and really succeed at one platform, then you know you can do it on all platforms. And this is basically the key. I think the main key is to have flexibility in thinking. Once you know how to make things happen and you know how to make things work, then you can basically do it on every platform. And this has worked in so many different opportunities. And yeah, so it started like that. I learned something. When I learn a media, I really like learn everything about it. I dive deep into it and even obsess over it. And then I'm able to make it happen. So that's
Yes.
how it started.
Yes, and you also, I mean, today you have the agency, but you also are content creators, and you've spent a lot of time, a lot of your time creating content. Any idea what triggers you to create content? How you keep the consistency? I mean, if you can share some of these details, would be great.
So content is basically so good for my soul. What content does is it gives you, it's like a gateway to success because you get opportunities to create in every situation. I create content in a bar. I can go to a bar by myself and not look weird because I'm creating content. I can go and discover a city. I can discover food. I can discover fashion. So just to think about what content gives me is the power here. That content gives you the opportunity to break barriers and do new things. And once you think about content, it's like you always have a hobby. You always have something interesting in your life.
Yes, we know that, I mean, from all the people who are watching or even, scrolling LinkedIn or any of the social media networks, maybe less than 5% actually creating content and creating blog posts. Are you doing that from business reasons, or this is something you are passionate about, or is it a combination of those?
It's a combination. I try not to think about like, is this going to be successful or not, and just create. But it is what has built my business all away during the whole journey. Like in the beginning, I didn't even realize that I was creating blog posts about events, and then I became the one person that everybody comes to know which events are happening in the city. So I try to not think about the numbers as much, but it's a really big part of it. So it all kind of works together. It just, the more you create content, the more you create opportunities, the more you have more connections and you create community. So it really just works for itself.
Exactly. So we know that businesses today are those who are creating content, and most of the brands and retailers definitely they advertise and they create organic content, and they're focused on text-based content, podcasting, maybe creating video. How do you see these various domains, and what do you think are the real benefits of video?
Wow. I think that it's not all video. I think it has to be short form video. I mean, video is amazing to give messages, but there's something really special about short form video. So that's what I'm going to focus on. And
Sure.
short form video is those videos that you see on TikTok or Reels. I think that what's really incredible here is that you have this opportunity to tell a story in a smart way. It's really like taking only the good parts of storytelling. You don't have time to waste. You have 30 seconds, you have 60 seconds, and you have to learn how to build the story properly. And I think that's what works for today's world. So video, short form video works for anything. It works for B2C, it works for B2B, it works for B2B2C. And I think people don't realize that like this short form video is telling the story in the right, in a way that people don't have to spend too much time on it, works really well.
Yes, and this short form video obviously works very well for the various like life cycle, right? Discovery, nurturing, conversion. Maybe you can shed some light on that. How do you see what works today?
I think that really works right now for branding conversions and everything basically is to take a topic and dominate the topic. Okay, look, for instance, we can take any product and find out what the most asked questions are about that product, find out what those questions are, and create content that answers the question. It doesn't even have to be beautiful content or aesthetically pleasing. It has to be just answering the question concise and correctly, and really giving that person all the information in one bite. It works. So that this is the way that it works for everything, even for things that people might find boring. All doctors' content, any kind of e-commerce, everything, which of course e-commerce is very interesting, but the way to tell about a product is to really just answer all the questions that people are asking.
Yeah, and how to identify those questions? And I mean, do you go for like fully polished, scripted based type of content, or on the other spectrum, like this authentic, type of content? What is it? Maybe a mix of those two? What do you think is better, or what works today?
I don't believe that scripted content works at all. Okay, I think it's
Okay,
about writing down the key points and doing it in a natural way. How do I find the content? I use a lot of different tools online. One of the tools that I'll use is I'll go into the TikTok search for a product. And when you search for a product, it gives you a suggest of the most searched terms. Okay, so let's say I was to search for the best water bottle. I will see water bottle Stanley, water bottle terms, whatever it is, and I'll
okay,
know that that's what people are looking for. So that would be the major tool to really use TikTok or even Instagram searches
yeah.
or other
To see
search.
what's working, what's trending, what people are looking for, right?
Exactly. And you can also see what people are creating videos about and what are the top videos. And then you know that that's the trending information. So I think that that's the main thing, is to really create content that answers people's questions.
Okay, so this is a first step of the process, doing just some quick research, see what's trending, what's working, and what will be the next step.
The next step would be to think about your hook. Your hook is your main sentence, the sentence that opens up the video. Now, here's the thing about social media until now. We had Instagram, and we have Instagram and all these things that are based on your followers. You have people, it's your social club, they like your content. And if your content is liked a lot, it goes to this discovery page. But then came short form video and TikTok. And I'll say TikTok changed the game for everyone. It doesn't matter if it's on TikTok or on Facebook or Instagram or even LinkedIn right now. But what they said is, hey, we don't care who follows. Let's care about the content. And then content became from social media to entertainment media. The
Yeah,
difference, social media is social. Social, people who are liking your content. Entertainment media, it doesn't have to be your followers or your cheerleaders. Basically, everybody gets a chance. It doesn't matter how beautiful you are. Everybody gets the same chance. It's the content that works. And it's more like watching a movie than it is scrolling. For instance,
yeah.
if right now I want to look on LinkedIn and I look at posts and I just watch and I scroll, I can do that while I'm on the phone, but I'm not fully engaged. But if I want to look at video, I actually have to put down the phone and watch, just like I'm watching
Right.
mini Netflix movies.
Exactly. So you mentioned entertainment versus marketing or commerce. I mean, entertainment is more of a lean back type of experience, right? I mean, you try to watch content, enjoy it, and observe it, and be fully focused on the content and what it is. And you mentioned the hook. I think it's really very, very important. That hook, what it is it like a product feature? It's a question. What do you think triggers users to stay beyond the 2 second and scroll for the next video?
The hook is basically the one sentence that sums it all up. It could be a sentence, it could be even a frame, an image, something right in your face. But the
Yep.
point is that to give that in the beginning, instead of, let's say, I'll use a recipe as an example. In a recipe, you have a recipe, and then at the end, you see the finished product. Right now, in short form video, it's different. You don't see the finished product at the end. You have the hook at the beginning. You show the end product in the beginning, and then you break it down backwards, because
Yes.
you are going for a cold audience. These people, you don't know them, right? It's
Correct.
not the same as your followers. You're going for a new audience every time. So in order to get a new audience, you need to say, hey, I have something interesting. So it could be a sentence, it could be someone jumping in front of the camera, it could be saying something that actually like kind of triggers me, gets me excited. It could be a lot of different things, but the point is that you're giving the punchline from the beginning.
Yes, amazing. That's a very, very good comment. What do you think are the major roadblocks or the major, showstoppers that prevent people or businesses for jumping into the short form video today?
I think the problem with short form video is that it's a lot more work. Okay. Until now we got used to putting a post on Instagram, design it. Anybody can design. Not anybody can tell a story. And that's why, you really have to learn the art of it. There's actual tools that you can use to do it. So I think that the point that video takes a lot longer to create than 5 second, a post where you just upload a picture, that's the major roadblock. But we have tools that help that. For instance, when you create content, you can create lots of content on the same day. So if you're going to do video, you can do 10 videos or 20 videos on the same day, what we call batch content. And then you're not just every day going in creating a video. And then it's a good way to get over that. But I think that's one of the major things that stops people from video. The thing is, if people knew that it's not that complicated, like even if your video is not aesthetically beautiful, but you do tell the story in a way that's engaging, it will do well. So it shouldn't be a roadblock.
Yeah, I mean, so the effort, of course, and a lot of people are questioning, the ROI for such an effort, and right, and definitely for B2B. I mean, if it's relevant even to go to TikTok and some other of these platforms. So yeah, I mean, and you mentioned previously that video obviously works for B2B and B2C. We know that also in the B2B, there are people on the other side, right? So they are making decisions that we know that today, even in a B2B, purchasing departments and various positions, they are searching the web, they're doing their research before even talking to the vendors. They even go to, 5 to 10, touch points, websites, social media, just to check brands. And obviously that video gives another layer of exposure, of knowledge, of confidence for people when they want to interact with a specific brand. Um, what do you suggest as a best approach of someone who want to jump into the video, let's say marketing activities? Is it like a long form YouTube, short form, TikTok Reels, maybe a combination of those? What do you suggest in terms of the way to start from the beginning?
I think the only thing that users should think about is to do, however you're
Yeah.
actually going to do. So if you think, I mean, long form video is really hard to do and it's a lot more work, so I wouldn't start with that. But if short form video is scary in the beginning and you don't feel comfortable doing it, you can start by just doing images in a storytelling way. So for instance, right now, what really works on TikTok is to do kind of like this carousel of images. For instance, I can show product, an image of a product, and say, this is the product I love and here's why, and then show images that explain why. And I think if you have that fear and you're still not ready to create video, then this is a great solution. And these do really well because TikTok
Yes.
is really trying to get on all platforms. So they do well. Once you create this content, you can use it on Instagram, you can use it on every other platform as well.
Okay. Great. So what are the major steps for creating, let's say, a monthly plan for short form, production, publication? I mean, we definitely need a script, a talent, a location. If you can share with us just the major steps for creating an efficient campaign.
Okay, so step number one is to actually go. I'm going to use TikTok, but you can use Instagram or any other, is to actually research the area or what's out there right now. And the good thing about TikTok and all these short form videos is you can actually copy. Okay, until now it was not okay to copy. You
Yeah.
can get inspiration from someone else and create it your own way. No matter what happens, it won't be the same. So first things first is to go into the search, for instance, on TikTok. And let's say you want to search, I'll just use a water bottle you search water bottle, you see what's doing well. You look at the sounds that they're using, you look at the length of the video, you look at the hook, and you write notes. And then you kind of sit down and be like, oh, this worked, this worked, this worked. So that's step one. Step two, you kind of see which videos you connect with. When you find the videos that you connect with, then you know what kind of stories you want to tell. Step three, you bring it into your own. So if you took a song from here and a length of a video from here and a hook from here, once you put it all together, it'll be totally different than what you saw online. And the next step is to really just create, 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 create. And if you can sit down and learn how to edit a little bit, it doesn't need crazy editing, basic editing. Now there's apps that make it easy, even if you have no editing experience, and just upload. Once you upload, you can see what works. Once you find something that works, you can do that again and again.
Yes, amazing. So definitely, I mean, there are businesses who have an in-house staff that can do all of that, right? But many don't, and they do appreciate the value of video and the benefits of video, and they want to work with an agency. Excuse me, like they want to work with Karen agency right now. So, what will be a typical process? What are the roles that you take versus the customer, and how is it going? I mean, on a usual process between you and a brand or a customer.
Okay, so the first things first, when we're working with a brand and my agency, we decide if it's going to be the person creating or us. Sometimes people will say, "Yeah, we have a low budget. Teach us how to do it," and I will teach a course and give a strategy, and that person can do it themselves.
Like the
If
brand
it's,
owner or someone from the sellers, they take the
yeah, they don't
role
have
and
anybody. It
yeah.
doesn't have to be fancy in any way. They just have to be really motivated to do it.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
a
then
lot of
you
times.
provide training or you provide guidance how to do that, right?
Yeah, provide training and provide a strategy. What kind of videos we're
Strategy.
going to do. We create a plan together. And a lot of times I have a weekly meeting with them or bi-weekly meeting where we go over everything. We go over the videos that are doing well and we see what we can work on next. So that's kind of like a mentorship program. That's number one. Very few people do that. You have to be very, very motivated, but
Yeah.
it's an option.
And time and have the time to do
Exact
it. Yeah.
time and option. The next option that we do is we do the entire process. We create a certain amount of videos per month, if it's 15 or 12, whatever, or 20, depending on how fast you want to succeed, because the more you do, the better you will succeed on these platforms. And we create a plan and then we do batch content. We decide on a day, we create the strategy, what kind of videos there's going to be. We decide who's going to do it. A lot of times we just want somebody in house. We don't take a model or anyone special. Authentic works really well. We try to think how um, how we can be effective with what we have, the resources we already have. And then we create batch content. Like in one session, we can create 20 videos.
Okay.
And then the videos, we record them and we edit them. We add what we call B-roll, which is beautiful images that tell the story. So it's not only somebody talking, and that's how it works. And then you get every month, we even upload the content. You get the content uploaded, ready with text and video and SEO optimized.
Yeah, so this is a major, I mean, responsibilities and tasks that you do in this process. So it's like a complete handover or an outsource from the business perspective. What do you expect from them? What do you need from them in this option?
We really need like the 1 or 2 hours a week. That's it.
Yeah,
And 1 or 2 hours a month. That's it. And we create and do everything. We take everything off the other person's plate. And it seems to work really well because people like that. They like that they only have to dedicate 1 or 2 hours a month. And sometimes people are like, can we do another photo shoot? Because they really enjoy it. It brings out like a creative fire in you.
yeah,
But yeah, we do everything. Once we're finished the video shoot, there's nothing else for the company to do.
yeah. So the customer is sharing the strategy, the products, the values, right, or the benefits, or some key differentiators, and you do the scripting, the
Yeah,
storytelling. This is all part of your role, strategy, and obviously the implementation and execution of those videos. Correct?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. Great. So I think that for Vimy, right? I mean, we are publishing definitely short forms on Instagram, TikTok, some other platforms, and we see the engagement is like 50 times higher on TikTok, right? So let's talk about the TikTok effect right
Okay.
now and why TikTok. I mean, you choose TikTok obviously from the get-go, and you saw that this is an emerging platform. How do you see TikTok today? I mean, I know they are doing a lot of things also in terms of providing shoppable functionalities inside the platform, and obviously video is the key. So yeah, I would love your feedback on the TikTok effect.
Okay, so TikTok is just, they're so smart, I have to say, because what they're doing is they're really taking all the platforms and everything that work and bringing them into TikTok. Like I said, first TikTok was short form video, now you have long form video, you have storytelling, you have live. There's so many different things, and now we really have e-commerce on TikTok and shoppable TikTok, and I think this
Yeah,
is where the brilliance is. Because TikTok is not, they're not scared to really dive deep into what Amazon is doing and other places are doing and understand the keys and bring them into TikTok. And the thing about TikTok that it's because the audience is so um, thinking forward and so creative that trends really happen quite fast. So once you implement something into TikTok, it's pretty fast until it works. And I think that's the unique beauty of TikTok, that trends actually happen and they happen organically. Because once something works, it just starts to happen. A lot of times people are super successful or products are super successful without any ads or anything else.
Yeah, I mean, TikTok also today they are providing fulfillment, they're providing, warehousing, I mean, all the logistics. So it's really, going head to head with Amazon in that respect. So definitely they have big plans and it, yet to be seen, if it's going to be a success in the following years. Um, so yeah, in terms of the TikTok specifically, what do you think works? I mean, definitely there are videos describing a product, there are video educating about the brand, there are video, asking Q&A questions, or I mean, what type of videos or all of them are working today in TikTok?
Everything works. The truth is to find what's your groove, what's your vibe. What works right now that you can see a lot in e-commerce on TikTok is I want to say it's more than authentic. Authentic content was a thing. Like people like to see what you really like, but now we're moving to the next step. It's kind of like you're peeking in. I want to say it's like looking through a window. So you'll see a lot of videos in TikTok where it's not even somebody recommending, not someone saying, "Hey, this is the product I want," but actually like you catching a husband and wife talking about something and be like, "Again, you're using that water bottle." Like it's almost like you hear the secret conversation, and that's like beyond authenticity. Like that's
Sure.
like really like so that really works
Yeah.
for products too. Like recording, for instance, we had a product now that we did a recording for it, and we like recorded two people talking and just looking at the lady's feet and just hearing the people talking, and that
Yeah.
worked really
Yeah.
well
Work
because
very
people
well.
felt like it's more than authentic. You're not recommending something, you're like literally listening in on a conversation. So I
Yeah.
think that's what works. That works. I mean, a lot of different things work, but that works. And also people just want all the value of a product. So a style where you explain every little thing about the product in one video really works because people don't want to search. They want to know exactly what's happening and get it all in the 30 to 60 seconds.
Yeah. So this we know TikTok is very, very well, and definitely Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts very well for discovery and engaging with cold prospects, right? What are the best practices for conversion? I mean, for trying to convert those audiences to customers.
Okay, so let's think about it. That's a really good question. So the best things are to make sure that you give all the value if you really want somebody to buy. Give all the value and don't leave them looking for how to buy. Like everything has to be, the process has to be streamlined. So
Yeah.
that's number one. Number two is to really um, show people the results in the long run of the product. That really works. And the other thing is to have insane amounts of content. The more you push it out, the
Yeah.
more that people see it. The rule where people see something three times and then they want to buy it. People now 3 times, 6 times, the more they see it, they realize they're getting FOMO and they need it. They get the fear of missing out. So we want to just pump it out as much as possible.
Yeah, so people are just scrolling through their feed and they see an interesting video. They see the obviously the brand icon there, so they click on it. They go to the let's say company page, and they are from there. They know what to do, right? They reach out to the website, they hit to connect, and this inbound or organic content actually triggers more leads for the brand, which is what we see also, and it's really amazing, how people are, engaging with the platform and creating some substantial business decisions through short form videos. What are your thoughts in terms of organic versus paid content on TikTok and in terms of short forms also on Instagram and YouTube? What do you think works today, or maybe it depends on the various stages, product stages or marketing stage?
I think that organic works really well. Like a good
Uh,
organic plan of lots of content works. Taking a subject and really answering every question that people have and creating a lot of content really works. Like I've seen there are a few companies around the world that are actually bringing in a few people to open several TikTok accounts on a product
Correct.
and
Yeah.
different areas of the product. Okay, so for instance, taking, let's say, I'll use the water bottle, but the water bottle that has a certain color, but they literally have so many different accounts on the same thing that really works. So a lot of content, and I think that organically things work really well. But if you want to accelerate it, then paid ads works as well. So it's a really good combination of both. You don't need to, you can work only organically and create lots of content and have it work for you, but using a bit of ads, and right now the ads are really value for money as far as TikTok, and you can accelerate the process.
Yeah. Obviously, there is an issue of the new topic of live shopping. I mean, obviously happening on the brand website, but also on social media. TikToks obviously are pushing it a lot because of the great success in China. And latest report, they recommended for any of a live shopping events to be a minimum of 2 hours, just to train
Wow.
the algorithms and make the algorithm works for you. So they are obviously pushing, brands to spend a lot of time on the platform. I mean, looking at the, let's say, Western world, US perspective, 2 hours, I mean, what do you think?
I think it sounds like a lot, but really
Yeah.
you have to remember it's like going into a store. People are dropping in, dropping out. That when you put up a live, then basically what happens is TikTok pushes it into the people's feeds, so people just keep joining and coming in and out. So I don't think it's that long in the long run. Yes, it might be a lot of work, but different people are coming in and coming out like a store. So I think it
Yes.
makes a lot of sense. Like it's not like you just put up a live and then everybody just comes in at once. So I think it's a
Yes.
very good strategy. You'll see a lot of products that just keep selling like that, and people like to be part of the process. So when you're on live and you write something, oh, put my name on this product, people love to be part of the process.
Sure. And of course, if you want to push more than one product, several products in an event, you need more time for that. Taking your
Exactly.
your old inventory, try to push it with some discount. So I think it's a great opportunity. How do you see the engagement on TikTok between, let's say, live and non-live video?
I mean, I think everything has its strengths. Like to build live, it takes a while. Like you have to
Yeah.
build it up. It's not the first live that works, and it's slowly built up. So if you can be consistent about it, it works really well. But it works well enough to just put out videos there and let the algorithm push them out. So I think it really depends on how committed you are. But sometimes it's enough to just put the videos out there and use those same videos on all different platforms, which is really great and really value for money. Because once you create a good video for TikTok, you can use it on Instagram, you can use it on YouTube, you can use it
Right.
on your own website, you can use it anywhere.
Yeah, the
So I
multi-purpose.
think, yeah, so I think both work, but the live is a much bigger investment. So I would start obviously with the organic and then move to the lives.
Correct, correct. And what do you think is the best frequency? I mean, in terms of posting and producing videos?
Well, I think it's like when you go to the gym, like how fast you want to get buff and work your body. If you go
Yeah,
once a week, it's going to take maybe a year, but if you go 3 times a week, you might see results faster. So same thing for TikTok. The more, the better. But at the end of the day, it's how much are you actually going to do and be consistent with. So it really is like going to the gym. I think that the minimum would be 2 videos a week, 1 to 2 videos a week, but ideal would be 3 to 4 videos a week.
yeah. Great, Karen. This is amazing. Obviously, the gym is a great analogy because every time you go to the gym, it's not, you don't see the immediate results, but over time, right, that there is a significant progress. So, yeah. Why don't you share
Sure.
a great example? One of your customers, like, you don't have to mention the name, just share with us just as example and some of the KPIs that were there from the beginning and some of the results.
Okay, so I'll show an example. We have a doctor for thyroid, which is something that actually there's not that much content on it. And what really worked really well with this doctor is that the doctor from the beginning just gave out so much information and answered every question that people had on the subject, which doesn't, it's a subject that not a lot of people talk about online. So from the first videos that we had engagement that was like really high. Like even when there were 0 followers, we had 22,000 and 50,000 views on
Wow.
each post. Yeah, with no followers, because just it was getting to the right people who really just wanted help. So I think that's a really good example. Anything that has to do with medicine or something that can help people works really well if you package it well and you tell the story well.
Yeah, amazing. And like 20,000 plus for 0 followers, that's an outstanding performance. Yeah, so thank you for that. So great, Karen. What can you share about you that no one knows?
Ooh, no one knows that I get really excited about TikTok. Like, what I have is I have these moments where I'll be scrolling and I'll be used to my content, and then I'll be like, okay, let me look up something else. So I'll look up something that I've never looked up before, something totally random, and my whole feed will change within an hour, and I'll get into this like rabbit hole of just reading and
Yeah,
reading and watching videos. And I think that's what's really amazing about TikTok. You can learn so much about things that you never even knew existed.
amazing. So this is a great example of your work, but you also have a passion for your work, and it's a great combination of those two. Karen, what is the best way to reach out to you? How to contact you if someone wants to?
So the best way is to find me on LinkedIn, Karen Brown, and that's the best way to find me. And just send me a message. Works perfectly.
Amazing. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for your time. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you so much. This was really fun and really insightful.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.